everybody in?
Yes, Chief.
Yeah. All right. Hey, look, I'm going to speak just really quickly. First of all, thank everybody for coming out. I really appreciate you guys. I'm Rob Contee, Chief of Police here in Washington, D.C. For those of you who are community members, thank you for having me in your community. I've been doing a series of either chat with the chiefs or getting out as I can to really engage and walk around with community members to really see firsthand issues that are of concern to neighbors. That's important to me to really have that perspective. We have several members of your 5D team here. Most of you, I'm sure, know Commander Fitzgerald. He's been a commander here for quite some time. Captain Moore over there, he's the sector captain for this area. And then Assistant Chief Emmerman, who is the Patrol Services North Assistant Chief. We also have with us Sean Benedict. He's the Executive Assistant Chief for the Metropolitan Police Department, who's over operations and all that good stuff. So he's joining with us as well. Generally on these, I just like to kind of go with residents and have residents talk to me about whatever it is you want to talk to me about. Point out to me whatever it is you want to point out to me, right? It's not so much of me doing a whole bunch of talking about this and that. You know, it's really for me to have an opportunity to hear firsthand from you about the concerns. I like to keep the commander and his captains very close to me because I want them to hear really the same thing. And that allows me to do the follow-up that I need to do with them about issues that community members are raising. So again, I just want to thank you guys for having me out today. Many, many years ago when I was a police cadet, my first assignment was up here working the 1609 Montana Terrace. It was Mayor Kelly's Community Empowerment Center. So I got a chance to really interact with a lot of the residents and with a young man, I don't know, right there, the young man was just mentioned that his family has been around here for many, many, many years. And I know a lot of other families that have been around here for years, but some families not so long. And I think that in this space, you know, we have an opportunity to really kind of, you know, identify some things that may require us to approach things differently from just having a law enforcement response to them, to things that really require a law enforcement response and really kind of talking to community members about what that really looks like. So again, thank you guys for having me into your community. And who's ever, you leading the walk? Yeah, my man. All right, you got it. All right, good. All right. Hi, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Good, very nice to meet you as well. What's your name?
Kyla.
Kyla, very nice to meet you, Kyla. Yeah. Are you guys ready? Yeah, I'm ready, man. We're outside. Okay, so well. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Just want to make sure I'm still following the Yeah. No. All right. The community member that initially reached out as the young lady over there. Yeah. Yeah. I just want to make sure that she's up here. Chief, before we get rolling, young Marcus here would like a picture. What's up, Marcus?
You're a really good kid
How
in
you
the
doing,
area.
man? Who want to take a picture now?
Chief, I've been living in this area. One of the problems on a lot of the crime and the homicides and violence is caused by the housing instability caused by the MidCity Development.
Thank you, sir.
By the MidCity Development. So the developer here in Brookland Manor has created a lot of unrest and unease. You know, they're trying to kick them out, build it out. And that's one of the reasons why we've had a large crime. We had homicide here a few weeks ago. There's been gunfire on Rhode Island here.
Fitz, right here. I just want to make sure the commander is here next to me here.
Yeah, so the MidCity, the developer is creating all the unrest in the community. And that doesn't happen to be addressed by our political elected leaders, so us residents raise it.
MidCity is what?
Yeah, MidCity is a developer who's taking over all these houses, so he wants to take down these were once affordable housing and just put up, you know, new condos. So the residents, of course, are upset. They don't have any future uncertainty, and that also helps bring the violence and stuff. So you have a lot of gunfire and gunshots here because of that housing instability.
What about the drugs and stuff that I'm hearing about? Do you think that plays a part in it?
Well, when people feel permanent in their buildings and they have ownership, the drugs go away. But once you have that kind of flux, everything comes in. And you know, these were one of the few affordable housing, and now it's going to be torn down.
So this is like vacant now?
Well, yeah, occupied. It's occupied, but they want to tear it down.
Okay, gotcha.
And they've been subject to legal battles in Superior Court and everything else.
So that was like torn down?
Yeah, that's torn down.
This was apartments over here?
Yeah.
What happens if you still live here?
Yeah.
When they move you out, you're entitled to come back once everything's built.
Yeah.
But of course the issue is, are they giving people infractions
to make them leave because they don't want that many people still here.
Yeah.
And if you notice, they don't allow to play on the common grounds.
Yeah.
So that's why you go to San Antonio and say not allowed. Not allowed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll see the residents, they sit out on the sidewalk because they can't sit in the street.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, that's mid-city, so they're not responsible. You should get the CEO to come here and do the walk with you. You know, an owner is a corporate citizen, is it? They're getting tax breaks, they're getting zoning permission. They should be in front line here.
They have their own security.
Yeah.
Who has their own?
MidCity.
MidCity does.
Yeah, here, mid-city Rio.
So how long have you been there?
I'm a fourth generation. I live in Brooklyn, just on the other side. But this has been getting worse and worse.
Got you.
And in COVID, it just spiraled. Yeah.
This COVID and Montana area.
Yeah.
I lived here all my life.
Yeah. Like, we want to get an MPD secondary at the Walgreens here in Rhode Island, so it can be safe, like we have in the Brentwood Giant. You know, just have a, 24, instead of having a private security. Because those private security guys look like MPD, but they're not.
Yeah, but that's for this area.
Yeah, that's for this area.
But it's cool enough because they down to earth with the people in this area.
Yeah.
Who are down there with the people? Who you talking about?
He talking about the security force that's right here in this area right here.
Yeah.
You about to walk up on.
Yeah.
And
So you saying that they are cool with the people in there?
they familiarize with the people
Yeah.
in the area, and they cool. They come together with those. They don't have to collide, and what I'm saying.
Can I say something real quick?
It be
Yeah, sure.
I've been here all my life.
Yeah. What's up, man?
I've been in this resident all my life. So the issue, I guess, I don't know what he's saying. I guess as far as with the people that's being on the
He was
sidewalk.
talking about the MidCity developer and people not having stable housing. Is what he was talking about.
Oh, I thought he was talking about this.
Because of a lot of things. Yeah.
And then just with small things like that, it's like.
Normally you don't see that.
You sure don't. You right.
I don't know if they took y'all to the playground we have up on 1300 block. It's so small. I mean,
It's tiny.
what can we do
Our
with that?
kids
We got hundreds of kids. We got hundreds of kids.
Our kids should have to here and go up there. You understand? You need to come over here because I need to show you some locks on the gates that we don't have no sitting there. Yeah, I need you to come over here.
All right, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so when you got sworn in, I was kind of like, wow, we're going to be that somebody. But now I want to show you some of these babies that are locked up. And our kids don't have no place to play, baby. They don't have a playground. The children are in the house. These apartments, they all together. It's the best thing in the world. So the children in the house 24/7. It shouldn't be that way. You know.
Yeah, but they don't have a structure.
That's 7 days. They don't let them.
That's why everybody's got a shop. The rules are you can't be in there. Yeah, you can't. Even if you live here, you can't be like sitting on.
Whatever we're working out, we got hurt, and we're not.
And they had that whole issue of watching a movie night or something. That's the whole relationship. So they wanted to do, they want to do a free giveaway with us. Oh, we're not with you, because they were trying to like kind of chip into the residents. Make everybody support it. I won't do it.
No, hurt. You only reporting that stuff. Hurt need to come in. Today was the first time I saw the housing police ride through here. And I've been here for quite a while. It's because they know that y'all was coming.
But this is the area too.
This is the area.
That's right. You know what? Since I've been up here, I've never seen them.
Never seen them. I was so shocked.
31?
31 years, yes.
So everybody knows you.
Oh, yeah, because all she got is not pull up here. I'm going to tell you how well she's known. She just pull up here and put her window down and everything's scattered.
about it.
Well, that ain't a bad thing.
No, it's not. It's a good thing. Yes, indeed. She's doing her job. But we got people out here and the security now. They supposed to have security.
Now the security people over there are the same for over here.
No, I mean, they don't have no 4 or 5. And they went up there and look at that everything they can see. If they see the cameras over there, they can see everything going on.
That security people over there for this property over here. It's the same.
Yes, it is. But do they come? They only out here today because y'all are coming.
But they walked with me when I was walking.
So what they look good. Because what's his name? The owner. Yeah, I want to make sure you get what you need.
We're going to head this way.
This has got to stop.
No, but Mid-River City is the owner and the landlord. They should be here with the chief. Isn't it rude, disrespectful not to be here with the chief? Yeah.
Oh, you ain't seen disrespectful. You ain't seen disrespectful.
That's what he said, the owner.
The owner should be here.
But it is disrespect, but you ain't seen it yet.
This is the chief of police of the Washington, D.C. and is on your property, and you can't be bothered to have your CEO just greet him? That is so un-Washingtonian.
But you know why?
So bad.
But the man said up there and gave them $53 million.
Yeah.
So who's, you know? Yeah, she signed off with the...
Maybe you should be inviting Marcia Fudge next. HUD secretary.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Whoever they invite, they need to come in here and do the job right.
Oh, yeah.
Because what they trying to do is get us out. If you can get us out, and where are we going? And we got some of the largest apartments complex over here in D.C.
Yeah.
But they don't want the 4 and 5 bedrooms.
I don't know what it is.
They want to cut them down. We got large families over here. See, everybody thinks it's a big joke until it happens to them. But we've lived this 24/7. 24/7 we lived this. And when we see this mess out here, they think it's coming from the tenants. It ain't from the tenants.
Oh, no.
It's from my company right there.
And don't even live here, because people are so insecure in the housings that they leave, and then people come in. We've had a gunfight. It's OK Corral at the Walgreens on Rhode Island. And yeah.
It's a lot of OK Corral there.
Yeah.
Yes. You don't know where that police going there. But nobody, now, when we see y'all coming down, it ain't be like this for a long time. But what we think, when the police come over here, the man says stand down. So what you do when you say stand down? I mean, you can't do anything.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? And that's the police fault. We got some good ones to come in. And what I don't like is the trash about the good ones. We got some bad ones. But we got good ones coming in.
Yeah, but we don't even see McDuffie, the council member, isn't show up.
Yeah. Pockets of the landlord. He came over here when we had that sit down over there for the kids.
Yeah.
And one for Miss Elliott, we would never have that.
Yeah.
They don't pick up down here for our children.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
McDuff comes through here because he get ready to run for something. Just think about it. You know, I press him out and I don't care. He don't need to be mad. Even with the police, he don't need to be
All time we see them is when it's time to
Yes.
Yeah.
And the men.
Things like that.
Okay. All right. How you doing?
Hey there, how you?
That's it?
Trying to get everything moving with it. So we just trying to get things moving.
All right. All right. Okay.
Yeah, I'm glad you invited us up. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow. All right.
Sorry it took us so long.
Was it 4-star?
The city traffic is no joke these days.
All right.
Well, if you can get back to Dion and
back. Yes. And from that day on, I've seen everything that she said she has paid out to me.
Yes,
I have a lot of respect for her. And I talk to some of the biggest monsters out here. And
Right.
slow down and listen to what she has to say.
All she got to do is just slow down and put the window down.
How you doing?
They be moving.
I have Miss Kelly done the what? 25? You know, 25?
I got a big question to ask. I'm active for committee for Brookland Manor Apartments. I walk around here time in and time out, seeing cars speed down the street like crazy.
Yeah.
The petition required me to get 150 people. I got 175 the first one. I got 150 the second time.
Yeah.
The third time I got like 170. They put the speed bumps over there. Now, this is where the community still is.
I'm Robert Contee. It was so nice to meet everyone. For those of you who did the walk with us, thank you for coming along. I wish I could say it was, like an eye-opening experience. I'm familiar with this community. I grew up in Ward over in Charlotte Terrace. On my first job as a police cadet, I was assigned right over here for at least 2 years to 1609 Montana Avenue, so right on the backside of this. I saw many of the issues that existed in the community. That was back in 90, 91. Those of you who've been in the community for a long time, I certainly got an opportunity to talk to some of the community folks who walked with us. But a couple of things I just wanted to say to you guys. One, as I walked through the neighborhood, just kind of hearing from some of the residents, there's one guy, he's here, right there. That's a real guy right there, and I appreciate, I want to say that publicly, what you're doing for the community. Somebody who grew up here, who knows community members here, and really are able to identify with some of the concerns that community members have. And one of the last things that I said to him as we walk back up this road right here is like, these are not issues that, the government will solve. And I don't think that any community should be in a position where we're waiting on the government to resolve an issue. I think we have to look at those things that are criminal, right, for the police department to deal with. And I think that we have those other things that exist in community, like why are the kids not allowed to play in certain places, and why is it that programming is minimal, at whatever a rec center that doesn't allow for them to come in and do this at that place or this place. So it's a lot of, at least what I took notice of, is that some of the issues that exist are things that I think we have to collectively really advocate for. Police department, advocate with community members about some of the things that we see. If it's drug selling, that's really a police issue. Obviously, we deal with that. If it's shooting, that's a police issue. We deal with that. Homicide, God forbid, that's a police issue. We deal with that. But what about the young man who's 12 years of age and he's walking around right now with $1,000 in his pocket? And that young man is looking for some alternative, an alternative that I really can't provide for him. An alternative to the $1,000 that he has in his pocket. Why is it that some of our young people are in the mindset that they need to have $1,000 in their pocket? Is that real? Is that real in terms of they just trying to support family? Or is it that that's just kind of what they do in community and it makes it unsafe for everybody else that lives in that community? And I think that those are issues that we really have to work through. For our side of it, Commander Fitzgerald and his team are here, and I asked them to be here with me so that from a response standpoint, I want to make sure that they really get it. One of the things that we talked about is, do you guys normally see the police in your neighborhood or not so often? No. Community members. I see something like this and I see something like this. So maybe a mixed thing, but they have some officers here, Fitzgerald, Officer Rohan and Officer Kelly, that are assigned to your community. So if you don't know them, I'm going to ask that you please get an opportunity to meet them before you leave. If you don't know your district commander, he's the guy who's responsible for police service, specifically in 5D, specifically in this community. He's the head guy here in 5D. So if you don't know him, Please get to know him. He has a captain back there. Where are you, captain? Thank you. He has a captain back there. That's the guy who's on the ground every day in this area. Please get to know him. There's an assistant chief back there who oversees the 5th district, the 5th district, the 2nd district, the 3rd district, and the 4th district. So please get to know him. There are a ton of resources in terms of police department personnel that are here today. And I want you guys to not feel like, hey, look, we're in this by ourselves. That we got somebody we can pick up the phone, we can call, somebody we can email if we need to address whatever community concerns are in the community. You should be able to walk your children, if you have them, from one end of the block to the other without fear of freaking bullets flying across their head. You should be able to do that, right? And there are things that we have to do in community to make sure that that space exists so that we can all live the lives that we want to live in community. Some of that is community responsibility. I talked to the young man about, hey, look, I see young guys hanging out here, but I also see some liquor bottles down there. No Martians drop down and drop that stuff down there. That's happening from people with this side of the community. And those are things that we have to take ownership about when we're talking to people in community. Like, these are things that we really have to work together on. So my commitment is to make sure that I'm doing the law enforcement part, right? If residents are saying drug sales here, blah, 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 then we got to respond to the drug sales here. I'd like to try to get some resources that some people would be open to receiving, but here's the reality. I go into communities every day, and some people don't want the resources that we have. So what's the option? Do you allow people to continue on down the path of doing what they're doing, making communities unsafe, because they don't want to be responsive to resources that are offered, because they're not paying what they think the resource should pay, so they turn their back to it and say, hey, we're going to continue to do this? There's an accountability piece there that we have to deal with as a community to say, hey, look, this is not acceptable in our community. And I think by the fact that you all are present here today says to me that this is a very involved community where you guys genuinely care about what's going on here. As I said to the young man, my commitment is all those things that we talked about on the walk, the majority of them, not necessarily police issues. I would be an advocate to be the first person at the table with everybody who has responsibility for this community to say, hey, look, they need this, they need that. Is it possible to open this up? Hey guys, how you doing? Is it possible to open this up or to provide some opportunity? But I'm also going to be that guy to say that we got to hold people accountable when they do things in our community to make our communities unsafe. I'm going to be leaving in a few minutes, but Commander Fitzgerald and his team are still going to be here with you guys. So I would strongly encourage you that before you leave, make sure that you connect with these guys. Sometimes in this format, people don't want to necessarily, shout out the issue that's happening in front of their door. And I get that, right? We got a lot of eyes and ears in here. But there's nothing wrong with connecting with them and then a follow-up after that so that you can really genuinely express what you're concerned about. Sometimes your concern is your neighbor's kid or grandkids and your neighbor sitting in the room. I get that. That's real stuff. So I'm not, I don't like putting people in that position where, where people are feeling unsafe and the police kind of go on with what they do and you got to go back next door to the neighbor's grandson who you just complained about in a community meeting. So it has been my honor and pleasure to come back here. I look forward to coming back again. Like I said, the team will be here. Thank you for inviting me out to your community to have this walk today. For those of you who bear with me while I talk with community members on the walk and sweat a little bit, thank you, Mr. Commissioner. I know that left knee is a little crazy. Let's give her a hand. If there are specific issues again regarding the community, specific issues in your block, Commander Fitzgerald and his team will remain behind to be able to address those issues and concerns. All right? Thank you so much. Gentlemen, sorry I didn't get a chance to meet you guys, but nice seeing you. This won't be my last time visiting. All right? All right. Thank you guys. Absolutely.